Ready to write. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that we have all lived. This has been a long 2-3 weeks. Being here in the courtroom with you, I would have to say from what I have observed that we could not have had a better jury. Regardless of what decision that you make, regardless of what penalty that you impose, I truly appreciate that you represent this community. You come from all walks of life, and I truly believe that you will stick with the vow, with the promise that you gave the court when you said that you are the type that wants to hear everything, and that you don't want to come in with any preconceptions about what the penalty should or shouldn't be. That you would wait until you heard everything, no matter how painful it was, no matter how difficult it was, that you would hear everything, and then you would make a determination. This is going to be the last time that you will hear from the state. You will hear from us, and the defense will have an opportunity to speak to you. During this past 2 weeks, there has been so many times when Mr. Geis would be up, and Mr. Buck would be up, and Mrs. Clark, and the witness would say something, and I would want to jump up and say, "Hey, what about this? What about this?" Bring it to your attention. There is no way humanly possible that I can bring back every single thing. I've tried. I've written notes. I have tried to keep up every single point that I would want to make to you. And so there is, no matter what I end up saying during my brief time here with you now, there is going to be some things that I miss. You see, my job is not really to stand here and tell you what to do. If that's the case, I would be sitting on that side. I would be one of the jurors. But my job is to point out aspects of the case and just call them to your attention. No matter how impassionate that I get about what I'm going to say to you, no matter how forceful I get, I want you to always know that I respect that you are the people that have to make the decision. I don't take that lightly. I don't stand over here and rant and rave and say, "Do this," thinking that it's just simple with me as giving you words and you doing it. So I want to say that in advance, that I respect your decision, regardless, and I certainly do not take it lightly. Now, the reason we are at this stage is because of the first stage. And as we talked before, the first stage is as to the guilt. You went back in the jury room, and you took those two indictments. Indictment 94 GS 44908 stated that Susan Smith did, in Union County, on or about October 25th, 1994, feloniously, willfully, and with malice aforethought, kill 1. Michael Daniel Smith by means of drowning, and that said victim died as a result thereof. Indictment 94 GS 44906, indictment for murder, that Susan Smith did in Union County on or about October 25th, 1994, feloniously, willfully, and with malice aforethought kill 1. Alexander Tyler Smith by means of drowning, and that said victim died as a result thereof. These documents are nothing but that. They are just documents. They are just words. These words, by virtue of this signature, by virtue of this verdict, now have meaning that transcends these documents, because you as the jury have said that Susan Smith did feloniously, willfully, and with malice aforethought roll Michael and Alex into John D. Long Lake. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what brings us here today. You have made the first decision, ladies and gentlemen. Again, what I intend to do is to go through parts of the evidence that you have heard. And in no way, again, am I ever, if I may misstate something, I'm doing it truly unintentionally. If I recall something that you recall differently, certainly you stick with what you recall. Ladies and gentlemen, if there was one theme in this case factually, it would be about choice. Choice to do different things. Start with the choice that Susan Smith made with Michael and Alex. You go back. Every single choice, situation. We all have situations that are thrust upon us. I'm not saying that. But how we deal with situations, how we handle situations, that's how we make our choice. Susan Smith chose to drive to that lake. She chose to send Michael and Alex down that ramp. Then, as heinous as that act was, she carried it even further. She chose to lie. She chose to run away from it. She chose to bring us in. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brooke had said early in the opening of this phase that the one thing that you just can't do, just must not do, is say Susan never loved her children, because that's the worst hurt that you can inflict upon her, that Susan never loved her children. What does that tell us, ladies and gentlemen? That's the worst thing she's concerned about, is what people think of her.